What stands out to you?
Well, I mean, the loss doesn't concern me in and of itself. The Bruins second to back-to-backs. It's, one of those tough spots without David Pastrnak. Lindholm goes down, so, okay, I don't care about the loss. But, there's some individual things in here that are certainly concerning. I don't know where you want to start. Hampus Lindholm, the big trade deadline acquisition, who really, I think, sort of changed the dynamic, changed the trajectory of this team, goes down with the knee injury. You see him take a knee-on-knee shot here. And there he does finish the step. There he is down low. It was away from the puck. He collides with that player, and he holds his left knee. And you don't want your number 2 defenseman holding his left knee on a play away from the puck. And so you sort of hold your breath on Hampus Lindholm now. What's the story?
Yeah, so you got Lindholm down. You came into the game, no Pastrnak. You got a break with Brad Marchand, but are you starting to look at this team and say, all right, what's going on? What's going to be the health of the team going into the postseason? How are you really comfortable with what you have?
No, I know.
Personnel-wise,
I'm not comfortable without Pastrnak or Lindholm. They have no chance. I mean, with Pastrnak and Lindholm, they're hardly a cup favorite, but they just sort of have a sniff with those guys. Without it, forget about it. So Pastrnak, again, who had a core injury a couple of years ago, came back to bite him in the playoffs, affected him there. Now Lindholm with the knee. I'm beginning to wonder if Brad Marchand's going to make it through the season without getting suspended. He was lucky not to get suspended for that thing last night against Brandon PEEKE. I forget PEEKE's first name. He easily could have hit him in the head there. He didn't. It ended up being a clean hit, but that was just because it was lucky. And then tonight, he gets into it late with Dylan Larkin, and it's, so here's the thing last night with PEEKE. All right, it was shoulder to shoulder. Didn't end up being a dirty hit, but I think he's fortunate that it wasn't. And then tonight, if we have it, Sarah, if we can show it, he gets into it with Dylan Larkin. You'll see it in a second. Yeah. And it's like Marchand's back at it again.
You said last night, you don't want to play a psychiatrist. I kind of do. I kind of want to figure out what's going on with him. You said he lacks impulse control. Obviously, there's a problem with Brad Marchand. It just feels like he can't help it. He needs to be in on the action at all times. It's almost like, hey, listen, it's too calm. He's uncomfortable when things are too calm, and he needs to jump in there. I feel like he's going to do something stupid right before the playoffs start, and may miss. He's done this before, by the way. Remember, he missed like the first 2 games of a playoffs. I think it was against Ottawa a few years ago. Where first 2 games of the playoffs, he's unavailable because he got suspended.
So Grayson Allen, the basketball player, he just can't help himself from sticking out his leg and tripping someone. It's almost like it's an involuntary thing, and I feel like Marchand is on sort of the same track, sort of like a death wish, sort of like he wants to get kicked out almost. And again, the thing with Dylan Larkin tonight, he shouldn't get suspended for that. He got a penalty with a couple minutes left in the game. It was stupid. It was a back and forth. Larkin could have gone as easily as him, but he's just sticking his nose in these situations. He's just sort of asking for it, and he does again tonight. All right, so that's a concern. If I can give you one more.
Go ahead, because I'm probably going to the same place I was going. Go ahead.
Well, their third D pair has been a mess. They're trying to find the mix back there. Last couple games, or at least tonight, it's Forbort, it's Mike Riley, the Detroit Red Wings second and third goals. Sarah, if you have that, we can show it. It was just horrible play back there. Watch. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know what we got here. This is back to PEEKE. All right, never mind. Yeah. So the third pair there has been an abject disaster. It was an abject disaster again tonight. So that is something they've got to figure out, whether it's Forbort, Connor Clifton, whether it's Riley, Brown, this kid that they just traded for. They got to figure out what's going on in back there because that third pair is killing them.
Now, here it is here.
So here it is. So watch Mike Riley try and clear that puck. I mean, that's just pathetic. Yeah. And then he loses the player behind him, and it's in the net. Yeah. And now you watch the Detroit third goal. Watch Derek Forbort here and how easily, this is a replay of the one before. Look at that clear attempt by Riley. Just pathetic. And then he loses his man in front of the net, and that's just incredibly soft play by Mike Riley. And watch Forbort on the right defense here. See you later. Goodbye. Woo. Riley overcommits, wide open. Yeah. So that pair's killing him.
All right, now look, when you see play like that, it's hard to focus on the goaltender. But we talked about it last night, how SWAYMAN, in your mind, has kind of fallen behind a little bit, but from Linus. So what did you see tonight? I know it was bad defense play, but
SWAYMAN was fine. He wasn't the issue. The fourth Detroit goal, I think it was, the short side, that's one he probably has to have. But for the most part, I thought he looked a little better tonight. Wasn't the story. I mean, Detroit was coming in and picking some corners, and that really wasn't it. Let's watch the Marchand stuff and now the nonsense at the end of the game, because there was a pretty good line brawl here.
Unbelievable.
At the end of the game, this got sort of nasty after the whistle, which I really don't mind. But here's the Marchand-Dylan Larkin thing. Bertuzzi jumps in. Bertuzzi should have gotten a third man there. Again, we're on set here, so if he did, forgive me. But that's sort of on Bertuzzi. But you just sort of say to Marchand, again, like, why are you even in this? What are you doing? Because if you get suspended, if you get in front of the league's disciplinary arm again, they could kill you. They could send you out for the year. Now, here's the line brawl after the game, which I actually am fully in favor of. I have no problem with any of this.
All right, so how's the league going to look at it, though, after the game? Now, it was wildly entertaining, I got to tell you. Because you keep looking at it like, wait a minute, the game's over? This is not a replay from like the second period, the third period. This is post-game, and they're going at it. Will the league look at it and say, hey, the game's over, and hey, all is fair?
Well, so Marchand wasn't involved in that. That's just after the, I don't know what the league's going to do there. Your fourth line was on the ice, so I frankly don't really care what they do about that thing after the game. The Marchand thing, he's asking for it, man. He's asking for it.
He's hanging around.
He's asking for it on a nightly basis, and one of these nights he's going to get it. And at that point, you have a right to be pissed off.
The classic case of the arsonist hanging around the fire. I don't know. Let me get in there and throw something. Let me get this thing going.